What's up guys, welcome back for another episode. So in this video, we're gonna be talking to an owner that owns a F82 M4. It's a high mileage M4. We're talking about 100,000 miles. He just broke 100,000 miles not too long ago. But Towson, what are we looking at?
We're looking at 272,000 miles on my M4.
F82 M4. So how long have you had this car? I know we've gone through this in a separate video, but just for the ones that really haven't watched that video, how long have you had it for?
I think I'm rolling close to 4 years by now, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's 3 or 4 years on this thing. I bought it with 54,000 miles on the car and put, another 50,000 on it, and it's been super solid. I mean, basic maintenance, obviously.
Yeah, and in the video and title, I mentioned that caution, right, about buying a high mileage M4. And we're gonna talk about some of the maintenance. Some of the maintenance that you actually recently done, and it's not cheap, right? Because technically this is a BMW, you got the M tax. What are we looking at? What recent maintenance did you do on the car?
So one of the things that I didn't have done in the previous video was the crank hub.
And you guys are trashing him. You're like, oh,
listen,
stage
2, miles.
No crank hub done. You crazy, you wildin'.
I have the old crank hub in my trunk. I can show it to you. It's mint. Even the friction discs are mint. I don't know if they just built mine on a Wednesday and it's perfect or what, but we did the crank hub, and I only did it because my oil pan gasket was leaking, and that's a common issue with a lot of BMWs. The unfortunate thing is when your oil pan leaks on these cars, you have to drop the subframe a little bit to get to it and get it out. The official way is you drop the whole subframe, but I know a lot of the shops around here, they probably won't drop it all the way. They'll get a way to get to it quickly, so they're not taking up all that time. So to replace that, they'll be pulling that down. And then at that point, you might, if you're in there, if you're planning on keeping the car, you decide if it's time for you to do rod bearings or not. I plan on keeping the car for another X amount of miles. So I went ahead and paid the extra money to get my rod bearings done. It's not a common thing on this platform, but I just chose to do it preemptively.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of people talk about rod bearings. You only hear people talk about rod bearings when it's on the E9X platform. That's a big issue with that chassis. But you just did it just a peace of mind, right?
Right. And frankly, we didn't know the condition of mine whatsoever. When they took mine out, they honestly looked brand new. But again, I've done regular oil changes, taken care of the car. I'll have Ken post a picture of how my rod bearings actually looked. It was pretty much normal wear.
How do you know I'm gonna post that photo? You're making me do more work than I did. I'm kidding.
But yeah, it was normal wear. I didn't see any major significant scarring or anything that would be alarming. So
basically, BMW has fixed that issue, because again, that was a prominent issue. People, if you guys don't know about the rod bearing issues on the E9X, people were blowing their motors, right? Because the spacing between them, it would cause a catastrophic failure. So that has been fixed.
Yeah, so I did look on the forums and noticed that some people had some bad bearings in their cars. I don't know how they were beating on it when it was cold or what the situation was. I don't know their situation, but for me, for someone that, does regular oil changes, make sure everything's done at the right time, I didn't have any issues. So if you're following what you're supposed to, you shouldn't have any issues. If you plan on keeping it and you're already doing the oil pan gasket, it might be something that you just throw, an extra $600 at and go ahead and do it, because you don't want to pay double the amount of labor to get back in there later down the road. Yeah,
and I'm a big fan of like overkill, right, with maintenance or even protecting the car and stuff, especially if you plan on keeping the car, because you already hit 100,000 miles. And these cars actually, they are known to be pretty reliable besides the maintenance, right, which is something that's normal with any car. These motors have been pretty stout. People have made power on it. You're actually stage 2, right?
Yeah, stage 2 plus or whatever they call it. It's an OTS map, nothing special. It's flex fuel, so I'm running E85 in it almost all the time. And yeah, like I said, solid. nothing to complain about, that's for sure.
And just so people know, like, you can see that glistening paint. This is Tanzanite blue. I was just telling him earlier, like, up on here when the sun was setting with some of that B-roll, it looks so good. And we actually just washed it just for this video and also for this weekend because we're here for Euro Drag Wars. And it looks like it might rain on Sunday, so it'll be pretty interesting. But I'm excited for tomorrow because tomorrow we're gonna see a lot of cars making power. And you'll see that vlog before this. We're gonna look at how to make some serious power on the G8X platform, which is because my channel is geared towards that, and maybe some other cars too. But going back into your car, right, because I do a shameless plug of the other video, what other was the main maintenance? I know that you have carbon ceramics. What happened with that? So
the carbon ceramics, I mean, everyone says it's lifetime of the vehicle. I mean, realistically, lifetime to me means like till my car dies, right? So realistically, that's not gonna happen. There's no way I could make those last that long. You're supposed to weigh your carbon ceramics, in case you guys don't know that. You're supposed to weigh them. They're supposed to weigh around like minimum 16 pounds. If they're less than that, you need to replace them.
And did you weigh them?
I didn't weigh them, but the BMW carbon ceramics have 3 indicators on them. And if you have less than 50% on those indicators, it's a warning for you to go ahead and start weighing them. So that is something to look out for. Mine were around 60%. So at that point, I didn't really want to put more wear on those carbon ceramic rotors. I went ahead and bought steel rotors, swapped them on, got the right pads to run with them. Obviously, I need this PSI pad, shameless plug, but
yeah, stay tuned. Yeah. Like the guys at PSI are actually going to be developing those, or they developed them. They're just waiting for them to come from overseas. So that's going to fit the F82 M2s, no, F82 M4s that have swapped out to these pads and rotors, but it also is big on the F87 M2s, right? The competitions that have the bigger brakes. So that's what basically you did, right? You took the rotors from the F87 and threw them on here.
Correct. They're exactly the rotors from the M2 comps, and they're direct fit. So I have a video on that.
Yeah, check out his channel. And this guy doesn't even post anymore, but check out his channel. This guy's
that's actually one of the videos that still gets quite a bit of views.
Yeah.
So I get people asking me about the swap. Essentially, it's the M2 rotors, M2 comp rotors. I believe they're also the F10 rotors, so very similar, because I know some of the M5 guys have asked me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a straight swap. You don't have to worry about fitment. It goes right on. And then you'll just have to make sure you have the right pads, because you cannot use the carbon ceramic pads.
You would destroy your rotors.
Yeah, you'll destroy your rotors.
Or you won't be even breaking. Any other maintenance? I know that 100,000 miles, your clutch, we talked about it in the car earlier when we went to get some sushi.
Yeah, so my clutch, I think my previous owner might have beat on the clutch a little bit, because it started to give me a little bit of weird issues right around like 70 or 80,000 miles. It didn't bother me. The car still drove perfectly fine. So again, that wasn't a big issue. Recently, it's been starting to squeak a little bit or not grab as much. So I'm pretty sure the clutch is going out. Again, it's 100,000 miles. I'm not that worried about it. Most
actually lasted pretty long.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, if it was any other car, I would say 60,000 miles on a clutch is like more than enough. So I've already extended it quite a bit. I will be replacing that sometime soon. I just have some other mods that I already have in the mail or here that will be going on the car.
You got some new shoes, and I've been bugging him about putting those shoes on. It would have been good for this video, right? We could talk about the wheel specs, but obviously this guy decided not to. But yeah,
we're talking about maintenance.
yeah, for sure. But I think the real thing is that this car with 100,000 miles reaching to that category with a stock clutch, that's pretty impressive still.
Yeah,
especially
100%. Being
stage 2+.
Yeah, and it's essentially lived with a tune for all its life. So before me, from 0 to 54,000 miles, I believe it was on a stage 1 tune, boot mod 3. And then I've had boot mod 3 stage 2+ since 50,000 miles up.
Okay, and then somebody that's getting into one, what should they look out for? Like, what is another issue that you might have to do in the future?
So the biggest things that I would look out for, and actually my buddy called me because he was looking for a F80 or F82. The biggest thing that I told him to look out for were the valve, oh my God, cut.
On a commercial break.
Okay, the biggest things that I would look out for is the valve cover, because you have the diaphragm that will fail, and then the car will start to make a very loud screeching noise.
Is that a certain mileage or?
Right around like 60,000 is the most common, especially if there's a lot of heat introduced into the motor, a lot of heat cycles.
So I feel like a lot of the maintenance, right, because sometimes clutches don't last until 100,000 miles, will be roughly the 50 to 60,000 mile range.
Yeah.
And that's like, a lot of it is after, if you would have bought this car brand new, if you daily drove it, 40 some thousand miles is like what BMW covers for, right?
Yeah. I think at that time the warranty was till 50,000.
Okay.
And then anything after that, of course, is on your own unless they Goodwill it. For me, I didn't have to change my valve cover till about 75,000 miles, so I got at least 25,000 miles out of it. My diff brake or my diff bushing, that's something that you should always look out for, especially on anything pre-2018. They had a liquid bushing that fails, cracks a lot. That's very common.
Did you do motor mounts too?
I haven't done motor mounts,
Okay.
so that's something that hasn't really, well, knock on wood, hasn't really failed on my car.
But that's also wear and tear,
Yeah.
because 100,000 miles, you know, it might be time to do some motor mounts.
Yeah.
But that's something that maybe you can do down the road. So again, guys, if you guys are looking for a F82, F80, or even if you guys are into convertibles, F83s, these are some of the common issues that you may want to look into, especially a lot of them are coming onto the used car market. Buyers beware. You might have had somebody that's in their mid-30s, flame tune,
Beating on the cars.
beating on the car.
Turbos are smoking, turbos are leaking. I mean, I got really lucky with my purchase with high mileage. Yeah, that's another thing. Turbos. If the car was beat on you'll notice the turbos are probably leaking oil or smoking out the back, or yeah, you'll more than likely notice that there's an issue.
Yeah, and that just gives you another reason just to go upgrade turbos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
pure turbos.
I would use that as a argument on the cost.
Yeah.
Look, I have to replace the turbos. Cut me $5,000 off.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And then, is there anything else?
I mean, everything else is going to be the same as any other car. You have your normal bushings that you have to replace suspension-wise, you know, tie rods, control arms, etc. Those come with time, obviously.
But it's been very reliable. Hasn't left you stranded, right?
Nope, hasn't left me stranded. The diff seals are something that may leak over time. So my input shaft seals, I went ahead and got replaced when I did the diff bushing. But again, like I kept up with the maintenance and it's been fine. So if you just do your maintenance, that's just as simple as that.
I know. So let's just take a look at the interior, right? I don't think we looked too much into it last time, but I noticed that you have two different types of seats, right? And you gotta check out his vlog. He actually vlogged that. He actually traveled all the way to Georgia and picked up another seat, which is on the driver's seat.
Yep.
And the funny thing is about that seat is that we actually gave away that seat, so it's full circle. At Beamer Invasion Orlando, I believe 2023 or 2022, probably 2022, right?
2022.
Yeah, we raffled off this seat for a ticket
rally.
holder. Yeah,
The rally.
for the rally. And I believe Scott,
Yep.
Jay Scott was the one that won it. Let's go into the other side and take a better look. But we picked the winner, and we want to thank AMX Performance for giving us these seats to give out. And these seats are amazing. You can see the M stitching on the sides, truly detailed. This is what, Alcantara or?
Alcantara, yeah.
Alcantara. So it kind of goes with his steering wheel and stuff. But you actually ordered the other side,
Yep.
right? A little bougie because you have heated seats now.
Yeah, so when we ordered this one from AMX to give away, we didn't opt for the heated, obviously. So I went ahead and asked him to send me the heat panel for it.
Yeah.
So I'll just take the skin off, put the heat panel in, and then we'll have heat in this also.
Yeah. So you actually bought it from Scott?
This seat?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you bought it from Scott, so it came full circle.
Came
he
full
probably
circle.
gave you a good deal on it too.
Yeah. He gave me a great deal. It was sort of a no-brainer. So I came back from LA Invasion and immediately drove up to Georgia to pick up the seat and then came back down. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. So he's dedicated for the mods. Again, I think this kid should actually start vlogging more. I call him a kid, but you know, us Asians look young forever.
We're the same age.
Yeah, so yeah, we're the same age. But yeah, this car's coming along. I can't wait to see with the wheels. You have the roll cage here. But there's so many other things that you probably want to do. I want to do a short shifter on my car. My car's hanging out there. It actually looks pretty good in the night.
Yeah, that night shot.
The night shot, right? It looks good. But I definitely want to do a short shifter. I'm thinking about Auto Solutions. They make a short shifter for both of our cars.
Yep.
And there's a few other people that have put them on. I heard how notchy it is. And you actually have a slot for production or no?
So I inquired about it and was getting some ideas. He goes through a whole questionnaire of how you drive, what your plan is with the car, what mods are on the car, how stiff is the car now, how much noise are you okay with when doing mods, things like that. And it's like this 10 to 15 questions, and then you send it to him, and then he replies back, hey, you know, if you are okay with noise, we should go with this. If you're not okay with noise, you go with this, and the height, everything.
I like that.
It's very custom, and he develops it himself, and it's a little bit more intrusive, I guess, as a mod, at least on my car. I'm not sure about the G's, but
I think you have to kind of drop the transmission a little bit.
yeah, so it actually, there's a brass like piece that goes directly into the trans, which is what's connected to the shifter itself. He actually replaces all that.
Okay.
So all that stuff gets replaced, so it feels like a very single, solid piece.
Yeah.
And not.
It sounds so notchy.
Oh yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the Porsche shifter a little bit.
There's no side-to-side play on it, really.
Which is something I definitely want to inquire about and get that done. So I'm not ready for that yet. I got some more mods planned up, and I'm trying to get it ready for a Beamer Invasion in West Palm Beach. That's going to be an absolutely incredible show. But I definitely want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have any other further questions with his car, hit him up on the DM or let me know down in the comments and we could do another follow-up vlog. There's always times where I'm able to meet up with Jonathan, Ben, a whole bunch of other guys here in Orlando. And it's a good area, right? These guys are so cool, you know, hanging out with them. There's a lot of good food spots out here, which I'm a fat kid at heart, so I will say that. But other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
Peace.